if you see all the organizations, if you're talking about any, I mean, say any of the Fortune 100 companies or 500 companies, or even those who are not into the fold of Fortune 500, they all are completely, going for a transformation. So when I'm saying transformation, it is not only, talking about the technology, but it is also talking related to, the business operating model. So if I ask very simple, to the students that, so if you talk to your dad, or maybe if you know just remember 10 years back, what was the format for the shopping? So usually you have to go to the different outlets and buy physically and then come back, pay, I mean say in currency, and then come back. Similarly, if you wanted to book a taxi and also, I still remember when I was studying in DU, if I wanted to book a taxi and all, I have to go to some small hub where you will find 5 6 taxis, is there, and then you just say, okay, I tomorrow morning 5 o'clock I need a taxi. But the experience which we are getting currently, on the name of Ola, Uber, and there are a lot of other apps which is available, or a platform available. We can book the taxi on 24 by 7 on our fingertips. So that's the change or a transformation which has happened in last, say, I can 20 years, and in last 3 years, I mean say I can say, during the COVID period and all, the entire world has realized the power of the digital. The entire world has realized that they can reach to the customer without having physical presence in that particular geographies or in that particular locations and all. So digital transformation has become, one of the prime driver for running any kind of economy. If you take, the Gartner, who is basically, the analyst across the world who provides a directions to the industry. I mean, say those who are particularly into the technology side and all. So they are saying that the hyper automations got the potential of $600 billion in 2023 itself. Just see, now we are at the ninth month of 2023, and this is the potential they have envisaged. Similarly, if I talk of the AI based analytics, because now we have started talking about chatbot, the generative chatbots and all. We are talking about the deep learning, the machine learning, the IoT, the blockchain and all. If you see the potentials, how this particular market is also moving very fastly, and you will surprised to know that currently the market which the Indian IT companies are grabbing across the world is more into the space of generative AI. So basically, we are into the VUCA world, and when I'm saying VUCA world, it's talking about the lot of the technology which is impacting our business operating model. So when I'm saying business operating model, it's basically talking about you take any of the business, how this data analytics, MI and AI is impacting, how the big data which is coming into a volume, which is coming as a variety, which is coming as a velocity, is impacting all the business models. So be it related, for example, take whatever the data is being generated when we are simply using this Ola and Uber, or maybe it's Swiggy and all. And most of the if I uh, count the number, I think out of the total populations, the student, those who are part of this particular sessions, 95, 95 to 98%, they might be using, any of the apps which I am talking of currently. So the increasing, the customer proximity, because earlier what happens, the seller, they sell the car, say from some particular locations, and then provide the services into a physical, the physical outlet and all. But if you see currently, if you wanted to, render the services of car maintenance all, you can, it's just one phone away, or maybe one step away from social media. So just see the how the technology is changing. If I take the example of IoT and all, most of the supply chain management related to things for delivery part, or for doing the supervisions into the warehouse and all, it's all being done very simply by using the drone technology, by using the AI technologies. Similarly, if you talk about the mobile, you talk about the sensing, we have seen it, what kind of the data which we are getting, or being data, thrown by Chandrayaan 3, which is being utilized for not only for the analysis, but also planning for what should be our next step when we are trying to explore more on the moon and all. So the mobile part, the sensing part, the drone part, the IoT part, it's all going to impact, and it's impacting all the business model. So even if I talk of my organizations and all, we are doing the security part of our organizations by deploying a drone, in spite of deploying some kind of a security guards and all. Similarly, we are providing lot of the analytics to our customers who are going to use our services which are related to the telecom and all. So see, what are the powers which is currently available with the technology, and how each and every business. If I take the example of the retail and all, which is one of the biggest the format in India, we have started doing the analysis of each and every the customers, those who are uh, those who are having footfall into the some of our outlets and all. And the objective is very simple, that how we can customize our service offerings as per the requirement of the customer, so that they can get everything very conveniently on the speed part, and also with the very good quality and all. So if I talk of some of the analysis which is being done, particularly on the financial part and all, we are using some of the AI based analytics, which is helping us not only forecasting the future for our product and services, but also helping in terms of taking the decisions on day to day basis. So if you see, I'm saying in lump sum, the technology is touching each and every individual's, irrespective of where he is. He may be on moon, he may be on some part of the planet and all, but technology is touching everywhere. So now the next part, I will just talk about if you start thinking of the technology part and all, how the way we were, I mean, say, the getting engaged into the work and all. If I remember, say 10 years back, work from home was, it was a dream. Working remotely, it was again a dream. Now just see right now what is happening. Work from home, it is one part. Work from anywhere is the other part. And now the organization is also accepting, be it a very traditional kind of organizations or a new organizations, everybody is embracing the technology, because they knows that if they want to have a good or excellent talent in the organization, they need to be very flexible in terms of timings and all. And now a lot of the things which is happening currently, if I take the example of the gig economy and the gig talents and all, uh, gig talents are, they are not supposed to work for one particular organizations on a lifetime kind of things and all. They can work in multiple projects. The only thing for which the organization needs to take care is that whether my outcome is coming from this engagement, from the from the talent or not. If I'm getting, I mean, all the outcome, or say out all the the output, then why I should bother that Mr. Ramesh is or Mr. Mahesh is working, say, from Goa, or say from Texas, or maybe say from working from Singapore, because he is delivering all the things, all the deliverables as per the timeline, so I should not bother about that. So this flexibility is, or working from anywhere is also become a part of the new normal, and now it is a normal for everything. Every corporate, they go for a performance appraisals and all, and appraisals happens once in a year kind of things. Maybe the review happens on the quarter to quarter basis, or maybe on the half yearly basis, but the you know the payoff happens only once in a year. And for doing all the appraisal cycles, you have to take care of what you have done in last 12 months. Do we have any kind of a mechanism on which I can do the monitoring, or I can appraise, or I can do the appraisals on real time basis, on day to day basis? The answer is yes, because there are a lot of tools which is enabling as a part of the technology piece, where I can do the monitoring and the appraisal for my team members, for my my organizations, for my business people and all, on real time basis. And the name of the tool is Workboard. Okay, so I'm just showing something which is basically some of the things which has come up because of the digital disruptions, or because of the digital technology, digital transformation. These roles are, I think, 3 4 years it was completely unknown, be it related to the artificial intelligence, related to big data, or 3D printing, or social mobiles and all. So these are the basically the six. I'm talking of the eight technologies cutting across all the organizations, and with this the different roles. So if I take the example of, say, the cloud computing, which is one of the things, which is being used by the organizations, the roles like, the migration engineer, a cloud architect, or a cloud software engineers and all, it was basically, 2 3 years back, it was not into the overall, I can say, the plate of the organizations. But now it has become a new normal for every organization, that they look for this kind of expertise for running their business into a digital transformations, this space. Next part is related to, the artificial intelligence is also, impacting a lot, as as a resource or a human being and all. And I think you have seen, some of the disruptions which happened, in last, I can say, 6 months only, on the name of AI, when this, the chat GPT came into the existence. Everybody started talking about, and not only started talking, they also find, lot of relevant things. Like, for examples, you are students, and I'm just doing, say, specializations into a finance or in a marketing, and I wanted to know what are the three critical, the courses or a certification which I should do it apart from my course curriculum. You just go to the chat GPT and ask these questions. You will get a very pertinent answer, and that will also open the window for you, that these are the two or three, the courses which I should do it apart from my course curriculum or academic curriculum. So it's basically, talking about the chat GPT, which is becoming, one of the, I can say, uh, successful, the business model or business, I can say, the technology. And this is being used. I have just taken one example of, how it is being used in the HR. So it's this HR is using this for the tech, for the talent analytics. They're using for a lot of the feedbacks which is coming from their employees and all, and it's all coming on the real time basis. And for the academicians, you lot of the research work which is being done, you can check through the chat bot, whether this particular research work has been replicated as a part of the PhD by the other students or not. That can be done, by just using one single software, uh, and that help you in terms of, from the global, the sources, what are the things which you have taken it from the, the Google kind of things. And also chatbot can help you in terms of, narrating those kind of things, and so also making you understand that yes, this particular things has been copied from this particular sources. It is not originally generated. Earlier it was not possible, because everything, all the reading materials, it was available on the physical mode. In last, say, 10 15 years, lot of, the content digitalizations happen. And that is also happen, based on the requirement in the business. They are not generating content for the sake of, the content generations and all. Like, if I take the example of the Netflix, I think you all are using the Netflix and all. The Netflix, if you see the history of Netflix, they have started their business by, this, I can see, the video CD and all. So earlier it was cassette. From cassette they moved, and they were putting all the cassettes into a physical, the outlet and all. And then later on they realized, okay, these cassettes can be replaced by the CD, and that CD can be replaced by, bringing one particular platform on the microservices basis, leveraging the technology and taking this particular technology to each and every, the laptop or a smartphone, that can be used very conveniently by any of the customer. The next part is talking about, when I talk of the digital transformation, yes, it's a very good thing. It's very, it's a imperative for the business to be a successful. But how many organizations are adopting on those? So Kotak talks about, any of the transformation journey which is starts, says 70 to 75%, the transformation journey, they get, unsuccessful. And the reason is very simple, that you can, bring any technology or any processes, the best of the best processes, best of the best technology, just within, within few seconds into the organizations, because just buy it and, embed it with your organizations. But is this the success of, any of the technology? The answer is very simple, no. Because until and unless, if your employees, if your people, if your students, they are not grabbing those technology, they are not adopting those technology, you're not going to get any kind of a outcome, you're not going to get any kind of a results. So changing technology, changing processes, it's overnight. But changing the mindset of the people, it's very difficult. And that's what all the organizations are struggling. Moving to the digital platform, building the future workforce. So future folk is nothing, it's basically talking about the upskilling and reskilling yourself. Then enabling the continuous learning, it is also important, because if you have learned excel, it doesn't mean that you know everything on the analytics part. You should learn power bi, you should learn tableau, you should learn julia. So these are the software which is going to help you, and that will basically enhance your capability by 10x, 20x, 30x. Align the governance, because in any of the the change transformations, it is very important that you should go with the cost, that is the cost optimizations, I can say it. You should go with the time, that is the time and scheduling of anything which you are doing. You should also try to manage all the risk of failure. Okay, and then you also need to take care of whosoever is going to get impacted of any of the technology. They all is your stakeholders. How you are aligning your managers, your employees, your worker, your leadership team into this. And then you also need to take care of the whatever the changes you have done it on the name of digital transformation. It should be agile enough to plug and play on immediate basis. Okay, so this is basically talking about when you talk of any of the digital transformations, there are four E's which is also important. When I'm talking about the four E's, is basically enablement. So any of the employees, those is working in the organizations, you need to enable them by providing lots of tool. And I've discussed about the tools. The tools may be MS Team, the tools may be Zoom, the tools may be something which is related with the Outlook. So these are the tools you should provide the employees, because that's the platform on which they can interact, on which they can work as a team, on which they can do the collaboration part. The second part, which has come very highly, if I talk of the top five agenda for the HR, is the top five. Out of top five, two agenda will be how I can make my employees resilience, how I can make my employees mentally peaceful, how I can make my employee spiritually the peaceful. So because a lot of the organizations, they've started talking about the wellness of the employees. Heart attack on 42 years of old person got heart attack. 32 years getting getting say uh, disease related to the sugar and all, diabetic. So you need to also see that how amicably you can make a balance between work and life. Otherwise, what will happen? The time which you are spending for earning, by compromising everything for earning the money, the same money after some particular time, maybe at the age of 50, or at the age of 55, you are going to spend the same money which you have earned by compromising your health. So try to be very very the logical in terms of making the balance on your work and life both. Then the third part is related to it's related to the encouragement, because anything which you are doing, I mean, say within the organization, I think that needs to be properly acknowledged, that needs to be properly recognized, that needs to be properly getting rewarded. That is also very important for the motivation of an employees, because this is going to write the success of your adoption into the organizations. And the fourth part, which is again a very important, empower your employees, empower your subordinates, because they are going to run the business for your organization. Most important part, for the critical success, I think nobody is going to be the the employee for a single organization's lifelong, because the gig economy and gig talent, that has become a mool mantra for the organization. So try to bring the expert into the organizations, that may be based on the project and all. Once he is completing, just relieve him, he will go and he will contribute to some other organization. Digital mindset is very important, because until unless you're not understanding the digital piece or a technology piece, you will be completely redundant, you will be not relevant. Similarly, I said the continuous, the learning, which is talks about the learning agility, and the growth mindset. Growth mindset is also important. Don't be very lenient and traditional mindset that this is not possible, this cannot be done, this has been not done in the past, how it can be done, and also don't put questions on that kind of be having a the mindset which is growth oriented. And the last one is the fourth one is the change management. So managing change is also is it's a combination of arts and science. You should learn how to manage the change, whether it's for a self or for a corporate. This is one of the journey, where we have, created a data-driven culture in the organizations, and the objective is very simple that each and every individual, those who are working as a part of the organization, they should know the data and data analytics. Okay. This is some of the trends, which is happening. So in fact, I have covered most of the the 10 parts, which is basically counted as a trend into the digital transformation. And the last part, which is very important for you, is that what are the top 10, 5 skills in the software side you should focus on. What are the top the skills which is in demand. So data science, AI, NLP, these are the top skills which is in demand. And at last, I will just talk of which is very famous, says by Alvin Toffler, who is a futurologist. He talks about the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write. It will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So the only mool mantra for you is that please reskill and upskill on a continuous basis. Thanks to all, and wish you all the best for for your future endeavors.